Boom, 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 boom. Hello, guys. Hello. I'm so excited to see everybody here. Welcome, 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 welcome to Your Abundant Life from employee to entrepreneur. How to gracefully transition out of the 9 to 5 into your own passion based business. Hello, my loves. I'm Candace Gray. So, listen. I wanted to thank you all so much for being here today. I know you could be anywhere else, but here on this webinar with me. So listen, you got about an hour to 90 minutes of action-packed information, and I promise I'll make it worth your time. I know your time is the one thing that you cannot get back. So I'm very, very appreciative that you're here with me today. So go ahead, if you don't have a notebook and a pen already ready, now's the time to go ahead and grab what you need because you're going to want to take notes. So listen, what do I do? Through the Your Abundant Life program, I help aspiring entrepreneurs transition out of their 9 to 5 into their own passion-based business utilizing a signature transition plan. And so what the signature transition plan includes is how to discover your passions and the things that truly light you up so that you can live a fulfilled life on a daily basis. How to overcome your fears of stepping out on your own and walk in confidence and competence. We talk about how to leverage the expertise and audience of your industry's top players and how to enhance personal relationships. We talk about how to decrease overwhelm and increase clarity by creating mini goals and designing your own business around the things that you love. I then show you how to research field requirements so that you're clear on what it's going to take to build your dream business. And finally, we'll talk about automating your business and achieving financial freedom through multiple streams of income. So listen, you're here for a reason today. Maybe you're currently working the 9 to 5 and you feel like you're meant for so much more. Maybe you're overworked and underpaid and you're unfulfilled. Maybe your job is downsizing or you've been recently laid off. Maybe you have amazing business ideas, but you have absolutely no idea how to start. Or maybe your income streams and your fund are extremely limited and your family is suffering because of it. Or maybe there's just a happier, more fulfilled version of yourself and that's who you're trying to become. So listen, today we're going to talk about 4 ways to discover what truly lights you up. We'll talk about how to replace fear with competence and confidence. We'll talk about how to develop a positive support system with yourself, with your family and friends, and professionally. And lastly, we'll talk about ways to market your unique message and achieve financial freedom through implementing multiple streams of income. And if you're serious about changing the trajectory of your life, I promise you I'm going to talk to you about ways to take advantage of ongoing support. So listen, you're probably like, okay, well, who are you, Candace? So I'm a passion and success coach and a travel and play relationship building expert. I've spent over 10 years working in social services and mental health, and I've specialized in adult play therapy techniques. I launched my life coaching practice in 2015, and I am currently, bless God, operating in my gifts and my skills, and I love every bit of it. So listen, in order for me to get where I am today, it wasn't without a lot of work, and I had to overcome fears. I had to personally overcome the fear that others wouldn't accept me. I had to overcome personal setbacks in my own life. I had to overcome massive financial debt. And I had to overcome the fear that I had to do things the way everybody else is doing it. I didn't realize that I could just do what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, because it's my business. That right there was my moment of freedom. There's so many things that make me different from all the other life coaches out there, all the other business and success coaches out there that are hollering, make $10,000 in the first 30 days or your first $5,000 month. So here's the thing about Candace is that I focus on the value of abundance and family Money is not the key to your abundance, but your abundance will be the overflow from your relationships and whose life you were able to touch. I value having fun and creating memories and creating life experiences and spending time with the people that you love. And professionally living your dreams and your desires and your passions. I feel like at the end of the day, whose life did you touch? That's what's going to matter the most. The gifts that are inside of us are not always for us. Sometimes they're for other people so that we can pull them out of the hell that they're going through and bring them into the freedom that we've discovered. It reminds me of when I was fresh off the boat from Panama. I had spent 2 months in Panama back in 2012. And I remember coming back to California when I got back, and I was extremely disappointed because I hadn't been able to secure a job, even though I had been looking several months prior. So I ended up living with my friend's mother in a gated senior community, and I took on a full-time telemarketing job. And I remember going to this telemarketing job every single day, 8 hours, call after call after call after call. And I could feel the energy being drained out of me. And I remember one day after lunch, standing in the bathroom, bawling my eyes out because I felt like this cannot be my life. You've got to be kidding me. I've worked so hard to get into in a position where I could love what I do and be financially free, but yet I'm here telemarketing for $8 an hour. And so I remember after literally plotting to be released from that job, I secured another job in a group home where my duties resembled that of a stay-at-home mom. I woke them up every morning, I fixed their breakfast, I homeschooled them, I fixed their lunch, I helped them do their chores, and I wasn't happy. I was so resentful at my situation at that time because I felt like there were gifts inside of me and nobody recognized them and they weren't being used. And I remember sitting at this little wooden table with a chair on either side at the end of my shift one day, and I remember contemplating quitting. That was it. I was done. And I wanted to walk out, but I kept thinking about the fact that I had to pay rent. So I couldn't quit. So I got up, I pushed that chair in, I went clocked out, and I walked out that front door and I applied to every single marriage and family therapist internship I could find within an hour of where I lived. And so, of course, as fate would have it, I secured an internship an hour away. But it didn't matter because I was so desperate in that moment. All I wanted to do was what I loved. So I secured my internship and I was happy and I was doing what I loved. But it didn't last as long as I thought. Because as you may or may not know, when it comes to social services and mental health, there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of politics involved. And I felt extremely limited in the authentic work that I could do with my clients. And I remember feeling extremely stressed out. I was having headaches every day, amongst other physical ailments, and I was so forgetful. And all of this led to me going out on a stress leave. And that was my saving grace. I'll tell you why. Because it gave me the opportunity to really explore what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and how I wanted my business to look. So I hired a coach to help walk me through the process of creating a psychotherapy private practice. And not long after working with this coach, I realized that I didn't want my business to look like everyone else's. I didn't want the psychotherapy private practice where your client comes in for 50 minutes, you have a conversation, then you do your notes. And then the next client comes in for 15 minutes, and then you have a conversation and you do your notes. And then over and over and over. I didn't want that. So I had to kind of reevaluate what I wanted my business to look like and really explore what was in me and what was really going to make me happy. So I hired another coach to really take me to my next level of business. And today I sit here and I speak to you guys as a woman who has overcome her fear that I had to do what everyone else was doing. And it wasn't the truth. And that was my moment of freedom when I realized I can do what I want to do the way I want to do it. I I feel like, look, if I can overcome a string of unfulfilling jobs, so can you. You too can live a life in security knowing that you love what you do every day is making a difference in the life of someone else. You'll have financial freedom because you will have created multiple streams of income and your relationships will be enhanced. It is possible. I promise you. Let me show you how I did it. So let's go ahead and jump in so we can supercharge your success. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the slides. Alrighty, all right, so we got everything situated. Let's go ahead and jump in. So welcome, my loves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Your Abundant Life from Employee to Entrepreneur. How to gracefully transition from the 9 to 5 into your own passion-based business. A 5-step proven system. Once again, my name is Candace Gray. And today, listen, we're going to cover a couple of things, all right? So we're going to talk about 4 ways to discover what truly lights you up. This is going to be your passions. We're going to cover how to trade fear for competence and confidence. 3 ways to gain clarity on how to reach your ultimate goals. How to develop a positive support system. Number 1, with yourself. Number 2, with a business network. And number 3, with your family and friends. And we're going to cover ways to market your message and gain financial security. So there are 5 steps that you must follow in order to successfully transition out of your 9 to 5 into your own passion-based business. And without these steps, your transition will be much more difficult and you'll continually spin your wheels trying to figure out what's going to work. So these steps provide an easy to follow plan that you can begin implementing immediately. And with this plan, you can begin living your dreams in your own passion-based business in as little as 6 months. So step number 1, how do you figure out what lights you up? What do you truly love? What are your passions? So we're talking discovering your passions. So listen, in order to be successful in business, it's crucial to love what you do. You know, I find that when you work from a place of authenticity, you enjoy what you do and you're more productive and the quality of your work will be exemplary. And you'll be able to maintain stronger focus, increased energy, and creativity will flow much more smoothly. So how do you discover your passions and your natural born gifts? So number 1, revisit your childhood. So I want you to think back as far as you can to like your preschool years and before the demands of life and stress. Think back to when play was a lifestyle for you. What did you do? What activities or experiences created the greatest memories for you? What was the most fun? And I want you to explore ways that you can incorporate this into your adult world. So go back to your childhood and really think about what you loved at that moment in time. Secondly, current daydreams. So take a look around you right now. What about your life right now do you love or at least enjoy? What do you dislike and what do you tolerate? There are certain things that you really love to do and certain things that you're just like, I would rather be doing anything else but this right now. The answers should really help you see more clearly the perspective in which you view your own life. You should be able to see patterns of happiness and possibly even really determine the cause. So you want to go back to your childhood and then you want to really think about what your current daydreams are. Thirdly, ask others. This is really, really important and I'm going to tell you why. So listen, I believe it's important to always take into consideration an objective viewpoint. So asking your family and friends and close advisors will often give you a perspective different from your own self-evaluation. Family, friends, and close advisors. These are the main people that you really want to talk to and have them tell you, what are you good at? What gifts have they noticed in you that maybe you haven't noticed? So fourthly, new experiences. So sometimes we don't really know what we like or know what we want to do for that matter. So the best way to find out what we like is to get up and do. Actually get out there and live life. Go try new things. Take an art class. Go skydiving. Play a musical instrument. Volunteer. Get involved in local activities. Play a new sport. And the best way to do this is really just to create a bucket list of things to try. So we talked about how to discover your passions. You want to go back to your childhood. You want to consider your current daydreams. You want to ask others, and then you want to consider what are some experiences that you really would love to participate in. So once you've been able to really kind of determine what are some of the things that you love and what some of your passions are, now let's talk about how to discover your acquired skills. This is going to be the other half of really honing in on not only what you love, but what you're good at. So I want you to consider what jobs, volunteer work, education, or other opportunities have you participated in where you learn something new. So how do you do this? You consider the job requirements in any training that you participated in. So remember, every time you get a new job, what do you get literally in your first day or like your first week? You get your job description, and your job description will list the job requirements in regards to education and skills that are necessary to complete the job. And then a lot of times jobs will often train you. So you really want to go back to your very first job. I don't care how old you were. I was 14 when I first started working at an amusement park in Cincinnati, Ohio. Go back to your very first job, and every single job that you have had up until today, I want you to consider what were some of the skills that were necessary for that job. What was the training that they provided me in that job? And I want you to make a list of all the skills that you have learned in the training that has been provided to you. Then you will have a comprehensive view of what you're good at. And this way you can leverage this when you're ready to start your business. It actually will save you some money in the beginning instead of outsourcing, which is something that I am truly, truly a fan of. And I talk much more about that in my Your Abundant Life program. But in the beginning, until you're ready to outsource, you could really, really leverage the skills that you already have. So I want you guys to consider this. Take some time out right now, and I want you to think about, what is one thing that you really love to accomplish this year? So let's say money is of no concern. Money is not an issue. Don't worry about money. I don't want you to get hung up on, well, that's $7,000 for me to do that. No, don't even think about that. What is one thing that you really want to accomplish this year? Then I want you to answer this. You're excited because you've been given the opportunity to participate in a highly coveted volunteer program. What are you doing, and why are you excited? These are two things I really want you to consider. Now, when it comes to this volunteer program, you tell me what it is. What are you doing? Why are you excited about this program? It could be anything. Once you've done both of these, think about, what themes did you notice? Were there any common or overlapping themes? And I want you to write them down. Sometimes there may not always be themes that overlap, but what this does is if you have a couple of different interest areas, now you know what paths you can possibly explore. So once you're able to figure out what you truly love and what you're good at, how do you overcome the fears of taking action and stepping out on your own? This leads us to step number 2. Fear is the most common reason people do not follow their dreams. It's not money, it's not time, and it's not resources. Because believe it or not, if you believed in yourself enough to be sure that you could accomplish your goals, you would find the money. Trust and believe. We do what we want to do. If it's something that you want, you would make it happen. So you would save $10 a week if you had to in order to make your dream come true. So it's not about the money. You squeeze in an hour a day towards meeting your goals if you had to. It's not about the time. You would talk to those that you knew in order to find the things that you need. It's not about the resources. It's about fear and believing in yourself enough to know that you can make it happen. So listen, this is fear. This is what fear does to us. I think this picture, when I saw this picture, I fell in love because this is the depiction of fear and it is so accurate. Fear limits us. Fear tells us that we're not capable of doing things. Fear tells us that we're not worthy of doing things. It says there will be an adverse reaction from others, meaning they're not going to approve. Fear is our enemy. Fear steals our joy. And fear prevents us from living our lives to our full potential. So take a moment right now in this very moment, and think about what are some fears that have prevented you from taking action on your dreams. This is really important. I really want to give you a moment to really think about this. What are some of the fears that have blocked you from success? So once you have, an idea or two in your head about something that's really been holding you back, let's talk about overcoming fear by fear setting. And so this is the part where I really want you guys to really pay attention to the process because I'm going to show you a proactive way to overcome your fears. We're going to practice fear setting right now, and I'm going to give you an example and walk you guys through it. So firstly, I want you to consider what's the situation. So let's do this together. Get that fear in your head that, you talked about on the last slide. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I actually went through when I had to practice fear setting in this particular scenario. So the situation for me was very similar to right now. I had to put on my very first webinar internationally, very first webinar, and I was terrified out of my mind. So that's the situation. So let's consider what is the fear. For me, the fear was that I would have technical difficulties. I had been hearing all these horror stories about things going wrong on the webinar, and you have like hundreds and or thousands of people sitting on your webinar waiting to get this education and this information, and things are jacked up. So my fear was that I would have technical difficulties during the webinar. So now I want you to think about how likely is it to happen? So in this particular situation for me, I've heard several stories, and just as we all know, dealing with technology, things happen. And so let's just say, for instance, in this situation, a 30% chance that it's likely to happen. So if it happens, how can you respond? I want you guys to think of 3 negative responses and 3 positive responses. For the sake of time, just in this example, I'm just going to give you one for myself. So in this situation, a negative response for me would have really just been to give up on webinars and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this again. I had technical difficulties in the middle of the webinar. I'm going to go run on my couch and go cry because it didn't work. That's a negative response. So a positive response would be along the lines of maybe just apologizing to everyone on the webinar and say, hey, listen, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're working on getting it fixed as we speak. I would love to reschedule the webinar for you guys on this date and this time. Meet me here. We'll start all over. And then when it's ready to launch, when I'm ready to launch the webinar, go ahead and kick out an email and let everyone know, hey, listen, this is the day and the time of the webinar. Join me. So I have my negative response. I'm just going to give up on webinars altogether, and I'm going to go run and lay on my couch and just cry because it didn't work. Or I'm going to apologize for the inconvenience and just simply reschedule. So once you've considered your 3 negative responses and your 3 positive responses, I now want you to think about what is the ultimate result of each response. So for instance, my negative response was to just give up on webinars altogether and go sit on my couch and go cry. How's that going to make me feel? I don't feel any better. And that's going to really play on my confidence levels and my competence, because I'm not going to feel competent. I'm going to feel like I didn't know how to handle that situation. And I'm going to miss out on an opportunity to serve others with my gift because I let my fear get in the way. So what about the positive response? The ultimate result of me apologizing to my audience and just rescheduling with them, what does that do for me? It does the exact opposite of the negative response. It boosts my confidence because I felt like I handled that appropriately. And in essence, it also boosts my competence because I know how to handle situations like that. And in that moment, it makes me feel like, okay, so if this happens again, I know what to do. And now I'm not letting my fear block my blessing. I handled it, and now I can move forward and try again. So this right here is the process of fear setting. And what this does is it helps you process the worst case scenario and prepare responses so that if your fear ever happens, you'll know exactly what the best response will be. Let me go back. So number 1, when it comes to fear setting, remember this is a proactive way to deal with your fears. And when I say proactive, this means nipping it in the bud before the situation actually happens. And through the Your Abundant Life program, we actually talk about reactive ways to manage fear, because sometimes we can fear set, and in the moment, those fears and those anxieties start to bubble up for us. And so in the program, we talk about ways to manage that fear in the moment. So proactively consider, what's the situation? What's the fear? How likely is it to happen? If it happens, how can you respond? I want you to consider 3 negative responses, 3 positive responses. And then ultimately, what is the result of each response? So let's talk about trading this fear that some of us have for competence and confidence. So number 1 is to be confident in your entire being. You're more than just a physical creature. You're full of purpose and desires and ideas and opportunities. So knowledge of your purpose and desires brings a sense of assurance that you can't fake, and no one's going to be able to take that away from you. Have you taken the time to learn about yourself? Know who you are and why you're here. Secondly, how well do you know your field? So being an expert in your area of business brings a confidence to all leaders. And it's important to study up on the history and the key figures and current events in your field. And so show that you're intelligent. That's important. Show that you're intelligent and that you know your stuff. You don't have to be a know-it-all, but others will see the confidence in a competent person. So number 1, know yourself. And number 2, know your craft. And this is what's going to happen. Reasons why the self-confidence is important to success. When you know yourself and when you know your craft, you're going to appear more knowledgeable. You're going to feel more empowered. You'll become less stressed. And there will be less fear of failing. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm going to mess this up, because you're prepared and you know exactly what you're doing. So once you're able to overcome your fears of moving forward and you have gained new confidence, you're going to need to begin creating goals to actually work towards designing your dream career. So you know what you love, you know what you're good at, and now you're feeling a little more confident and competent, and you're like, okay, forget fear. I'm not worried about fear. I'm just going to knock this out the ballpark. This is going to lead us to step number 3. So how can you increase clarity and direction while decreasing feelings of overwhelm? Creating your goals in a smart format, then breaking them down into smaller sections can really give you clarity on what your next step is. So we're going to talk about creating manageable goals. Some of you may have heard of the SMART format, and we'll talk about that. So listen, in order to reach your dream destination, you've got to be clear on where you are currently and how to get to your dream destination. Having clear goals makes it easier to follow your plan. So when you create your goals to incorporate field requirements and personal passions, you'll be able to really successfully design your career on your terms. And of course, living on your terms promotes a sense of freedom and fulfillment and security. So let's talk about, where are you now? Where are you right now? What is your current condition? I want you to consider where you are in the following areas of your life. And I really want you to be honest with yourself as you assess. Sometimes we realize that we're nowhere close to where we thought that we would be. And other times we realize that we are much further than we expected it to be. So let me give you an example. An example here of where you are right now. What's your current condition? So let's just say I live paycheck to paycheck and I'm barely able to support my family. So here are the life areas that I want you to consider. Financial, relationships, spiritually, health, emotional, professional, and that should say mental, not mental. You don't necessarily need to consider the mental, but I want you to consider the mental. So go through these 7 areas of your life, each one by one, and I really want you to honestly assess, where are you at right now? What is your current condition? What does your life look like in regards to your health? I mean, are you healthy? Do you have diabetes or high blood pressure? What's going on? Are you on medication? Do you wish to get off medication? Tell me where you're at right now. What's your current situation? Now, keeping these same life domains in mind, your financial, relationship, spiritual, health, emotional, professional. Yeah, I spelled it right this time. Mental. Keeping these in mind, now I really want you to think about, what is your destination? Where do you want to be? What are your desired outcomes? What do you see as an abundant lifestyle for you and your family? You determine that. Abundance is subjective. It's different to different people. I consider abundance not only just in your professional life where you're doing what you love and you feel fulfilled, but also your personal life when your relationships are enhanced and you have positive, supportive relationships. So I really want you to think about, what does an abundant life look like for you? So let's do an example here. I like to start my own greeting card business to make more money. Boom. First, I live paycheck to paycheck and I can't afford to support my family. So ultimately, what I want to do is start my own greeting card business to make more money. Okay, we got that covered. So now I want you to consider, who is attached to your dream. This is going to be extremely important, because just like there are rewards for actions that we take in life, there are consequences for inaction. So sometimes not following through on goals can result in negative outcomes. And I want you to consider what will happen if you do not take action to get where you want to be. So other than yourself, who else will be affected by your inaction? If you don't start that business to get financially secure, what will happen? Will you have to file for bankruptcy? Will it affect your marriage? That could possibly lead to divorce. If you can't pay your rent, what happens? You get evicted. Depression, anxiety, the stress that comes along with financial insecurity. What will happen? If you have a family or if you have kids, not only are you going to be out on the street, but your kids are going to be out on the street. You won't be able to afford the quality of life that you want to give your kids if you don't take action and make a decision to change your life today. Who else is connected to your dream? Very, very important to consider. Very important to consider. I'm getting a message about my audio, so I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me. Just a quick recap, because I want to make sure that you didn't miss this, because this part is extremely, extremely important, okay? So the message said that I lost audio for a second, so I'm going to recap real fast. There are consequences for inaction. If you do not do what you have to do to make it happen, someone else will be affected. And I want you to consider what will happen if you decide to not take action, okay? So let's talk about goals. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to getting our goals clear so that we know what our next step is in the business building process. So some of you may have seen this, some of you may have not. These are SMART goals. And so this is what you're going to do. When you're writing your goals out, you want to make sure that you judge it up against the SMART system. So when we're writing our goals, we want to make sure that our goals encompass every single criteria mentioned here. So number one, we want our goals to be specific. This is the who, what, where, when, why, which. Really define the goal as much as possible with no ambiguous language. This is where we want to be very, very detailed. So who is involved? What do I want to accomplish? Where will it be done? Why am I doing this? What is your reason? What is your purpose? And which constraints or requirements do I have? Then you want to talk about the M, which is measurable. It needs to be measurable. So this is the from and to. Can you track the progress and measure the outcome? How much, how many, how will I know when my goal is accomplished? Then it needs to be attainable. This is the how. How are you going to do it? Is the goal reasonable enough to be accomplished? How so? I want to become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company in 2 weeks. That ain't even reasonable. So make sure your goals are attainable. Make sure the goal is not out of reach or below standard performance. It needs to be relevant or worthwhile. Is the goal worthwhile and will it meet your needs? Is each goal consistent with the other goals you have established and fits with your immediate and long-term plans? Make it relevant to your life. Don't create goals that have nothing to do with what you're trying to accomplish. And then lastly, it needs to be timely. So when? Your objective should include a time limit. So for instance, I will complete this step by month, day, year. Be specific on when you want to have it done, a due date. And so what this does is establishes a sense of urgency and it prompts you to have better time management. When you got a date looking at you in the face, like you said you were going to be done by October the 2nd and it is September the 14th and you haven't even started, then yeah, what it does is it holds you accountable. So this is the format that you want to follow when creating your goals, a SMART format. It needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So let's go over a couple examples. Here's a goal right here. So SMART example number 1. The broad goal is I want to start a greeting card business. Okay, great. Yay, greeting card business. Wonderful. So let's get a little more specific. I will sell handmade cards through Etsy.com. So now we're a little more specific on not just a greeting card business. How are you going to do it? I want to sell handmade cards through Etsy. So how do we measure it? Let's make it measurable. I will be ready to take my first Etsy order within 4 weeks, and I will aim to sell a minimum of 5 cards per week. So this is measurable. You want to do this within 4 weeks. So how will you know when you're done? When you hit 4 weeks. And you want to sell a minimum of 5 cards a week. How will you know when you've reached that? When you hit 5 cards a week. And next, it needs to be attainable. So I will get set up on Etsy first, then I will build an inventory of 30 handmade cards to sell. Finally, I'll promote my business and build customer relationships through word of mouth, referrals, and local networking. So this is attainable. This is something that you can do. You set up on Etsy, you get your cards taken care of, and you promote. So now let's make it relevant. What does, starting a business what does selling these cards have to do with your business? Well, selling handmade cards will allow me to benefit financially from my favorite hobby. So it's relevant to your life. Now let's make it time-based or time-bound. My Etsy store will be up and running within 4 weeks, and I'll have an inventory of 30 cards to sell within 6 weeks. So you have a time frame and you know exactly when you want to have it done by, and you're specific, 4 weeks and 6 weeks. So let's just say the overarching SMART goal is going to incorporate all of these elements. And we'll say within a month, I'm going to get set up. To sell handmade cards on Etsy, which will allow me to benefit financially from my favorite hobby. So within 6 weeks, I will have an inventory of 30 handmade cards to sell and aim to sell a minimum of 5 cards per week, building customer relationships through word of mouth, referrals, and local networking. So this would be like our broader, not the broad goal, but the more specific SMART goal. So do you see how I did that? I'm going to go back for you because we use the SMART system. Make sure it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. I had this overarching broad goal. I want to start a greeting card business, which tells me absolutely nothing. So I went in, I made it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based, and now I have basically my entire goal wrapped up because I broke it down piece by piece. So listen, this is what I'm going to say. If you are true to the SMART system when you write your goal will typically be specific enough for you to go ahead and move forward. Sometimes we can still break our goals down even smaller so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming and it seems much more manageable. And then we'll be even more clear on the steps that we need to take. Because if I left the goal the way it is now, okay, great. Within a month, I'm going to set up to sell Etsy handmade cards. It allows me to benefit financially from my hobby. Within 6 weeks, I'll have the inventory of 30. Okay, this is all great. But I can actually break it down a little more so that I'm clear on the step-by-step process to meet this overarching goal. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You guys still with me? All right. So goal number 1, breakdown. This is how we're going to break it down. So remember we said I'll set up on Etsy first, then I'm going to build the inventory of 30 handmade cards to sell. And then finally, I'll promote my business and build customer relationships through word of mouth, referrals, and networking. So let me show you how to break this down a little bit more so that you're more specific and it makes it easier for you to check them off your list. How about starting off with, I'll set up an Etsy account on Monday. Boom, Monday rolls around, got your Etsy account up, you good. Mini goal number 1, check. Then I'm going to create 3 cards per day for the next 10 days, starting on Tuesday. So boom, Tuesday rolls around, you create your 3 cards, next 10 days, 3 cards a day. After those 10 days, check, you good, okay? After that, I'll participate in 2 local meetups for this week for networking. So now you know, this week I got 2 meetups I need to go to. After you've done those 2 meetups this week, guess what? Check, you got that one done. I will email and hand out flyers on Saturday. Okay, Saturday rolls around, I'm handing out flyers, I'm emailing flyers. Boom, got that one done. Check. And finally, I will call 10 people in my network to tell them about my business on Wednesday. So Not only have you had your Etsy account set up, not only have you literally got all 30 cards done within 10 days, you've participated in 2 meetups, you've emailed and handed out flyers, and now you've contacted people in your network to tell them about your business. You have completed this entire goal, but you've specified when you're going to do it. You've broken it down even more. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed with the overarching goal because you know exactly how to do it. Monday, I'm setting up the account. Tuesday, I'm creating 3 cards. Wednesday, 3 cards. Thursday, 3 cards. Do that for 10 days. Boom. Once that's done, now 2 local meetups this week. Boom. Once that's done, email flyers. Boom. Once that's done, call 10 people. Does that make sense? It makes it easier for you to know what you're doing and where you're going, and it makes it easier for you to see the process that you're actually getting things done. So let's try another one. Let's do a SMART example number 2. So the broad goal, I want to grow my business. Woohoo, wonderful, great. I want to grow my business. Wow, that tells me absolutely nothing. Good luck with that. So let's get a response this time from I want to grow my business. Let's figure out how to make it happen. So let's be more specific. I will acquire 3 new clients for my consulting business. Wonderful. Let's make it measurable. I will measure my progress by how many new clients I bring on while maintaining my current client base. So now you know you're maintaining your client base and I'm going to bring these clients on. That's how I know I've met my goal when I have 3 clients. And attainable. I will ask current clients for referrals. Launch a social media marketing campaign and network with local businesses. Totally doable. Totally doable. It's not out of reach. So it needs to be relevant. Adding additional clients to my business will allow me to grow my business and increase my revenue. It needs to be time-based. I will have 3 new clients within 2 months. So you're giving yourself 2 months to acquire these 3 new clients. So let's look at the overarching SMART goal. When we use all the elements of the SMART system, we're going to say, I will acquire 3 new clients for my consulting business within 2 months by asking for referrals, launching a social media marketing campaign, and networking with local businesses. This will allow me to grow my business and increase my revenue. Boom, here's your overarching SMART goal. So let's do the same thing that we did with the first one. We're going to go ahead and break it down. So I'll ask current clients for the referrals, launch a social media marketing campaign, and network with local businesses. So how can we break this down a little more to make it more specific and give us clarity on what we need to do when we need to do it? How about every client I talk to this week, I'll ask them to refer 5 people they know. Check. Once that's done at the end of the week, you talk to 5 people, move on to the next goal, the next mini goal rather. On Friday, I will create a Facebook and Instagram ad for international exposure. Check. Boom. You got that taken care of. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I'll go to at least 10 local businesses to tell them about my new venture. Check. Boom. You got all of this taken care of that fast because you were able to break down your goal into more manageable pieces. You can actually see the progress and see what you're doing, and you are holding yourself accountable because you have made it time bound when you know you're going to take care of it. So listen, once you're clear on where you are, where you want to go and how to get there, it's time to start implementing. Now it's time to start making things happen. So on the road to entrepreneurship, sacrifices are going to have to be made. It's just inevitable. It's inevitable. There's investment and there's sacrifice when you are journeying into entrepreneurship. So when in transition, who tends to feel your sacrifices the most? Who do you think? Family and friends. So how can you build and maintain a positive support system during your transition? Let's talk about it. We're in step number 4, building a positive support system. So as an entrepreneur, you spend many hours, many hours building your empire. And there's a significant time and financial investment. So it's important to practice self-care to avoid burnout. Take care of yourself, honey. Go do something, whatever it is that you love that gives you peace or rejuvenation, or kind of re-energizes you. Go do it. Schedule time to take care of yourself. Maintaining regular interactive contact is the best way to seek wisdom and relieve stress. And we do this with our close network. Our close network is made up of those who truly love and support us. So you definitely want to make sure that you're connecting with them on a regular basis. And then participating in interactive games and activities, in addition to creating travel experiences, is a great way to enhance personal and professional relationships, and it promotes fun and exploration. Who doesn't want to have fun and explore? Some people may not. There are different personalities. But I'm all about having fun and exploring and building memories and creating experiences. So I think this is really, really important. So let's hone in a little more in building relationships. So listen, you are the most important asset. You are your most important asset. So how do you build a relationship with yourself? Once again, I want you to practice ongoing self-care activities, because as an entrepreneur, it can be easy to get burned out. So be sure to continuously fill your tank with tasks and activities that are going to, once again, like I said, provide you relaxation and rejuvenation and peace and fun. And so find things to do by yourself that refuel your tank. Something that you would choose, not something that someone else chooses for you. Because a lot of times other people say, oh, well, let's go-kart racing. And you're like, oh my God, that's the last thing I'd want to do. I want to just go get a massage and call it a day. And then utilize games and interactive games and travel experiences. Great way to build bonds. So let's talk about your core group of family and friends. They're going to be extremely important to your sanity when you're taking a break from work. So how can you enhance your relationships with your family and friends? The best way to decrease stress and enhance relationships is to participate in interactive games and create travel experiences. So, for instance, take the family on a weekend road trip. You can go to the next major city or the countryside and just spend a couple of days or so playing games and just relaxing in peace. Or take a breather from work and have a game night with your close friends. That's another good one. Just being able to kind of relax and hang out with your close friends will really, really kind of rejuvenate you and get you back up on that horse. So these games and travel experiences really help you build bonds. They help you strengthen trust among your core group. And laughter is proven, guys, to result in increased dopamine and endorphin levels and decreased levels of the stress hormone, which is called cortisol. You don't want that. The stress hormone, not only you're stressed out, but it makes you fat on top of that. But you really want to be able to increase those dopamine and endorphin levels. So for a list of fun ideas to indulge in self-care, interactive games to play with family and friends, and travel experiences, I want you guys to head over to my webpage, rafahealing.com, and click on the free resources page. And then I want you to download the free 30 days of travel and play. This is going to be a list literally of 30 ideas of things you can do, including interactive games and travel experiences, with yourself, with your professional network, and with your family. So rafahealing.com, go to the free resources page, and then download the free 30 days of travel and play. So first, you want to be able to have this relationship with yourself and really take care of yourself and self-care. And then you really want to be able to participate in activities with your family so that you're increasing bonds. So how do you create a professional network? We talked about, creating the relationship with yourself and your family and friends. So how do you create a professional network? I know a lot of you are asking, how do I reach out to those people that are doing what I want to do? So not only should you invest your time in yourself and your core group, but you've got to be able to reach out to other people so that you can leverage their expertise in their audience. So develop a professional network by seeking mentorship and colleagues that share the same values and interests as you. This will be extremely important because these individuals will become crucial to your upward movement in business. They are where you want to be. So they're going to be able to offer you some insight and you'll be able to glean wisdom from them. So when I say do that, I want you to meet people who align with your values and share the same interests. Here's some ways that you can do that. Meetup.com. I've actually been able to connect to a lot of awesome and amazing people through meetup.com, especially locally. It's a very, very good tool to meet people who align with your values and share the same interests. Your current professional network. Many of you are still in the 9 to 5, and so there may be some people that you have access to in your current professional network that can really be a beneficial partnership. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also a really, really good professional networking platform where you can meet other professionals in other fields that can really complement what you're trying to do. And then lastly, reconnect with old friends and colleagues. So when I say reconnect with old friends and colleagues, it's not about, hey, I'm starting a business and I need friends. No, don't do that. Just reconnect. Go out for lunch or for coffee and just catch up with them. Rebuild that relationship. So listen, once you're able to get your friends and family in your corner to support you on this exciting journey, it's finally time to put the pieces together and start building your business from the ground up. So here, this is where connections and resources are going to be extremely vital. So this takes us into step number 5. Listen, guys, we are trucking. We are trucking through this. We've already covered steps 1 through 4, so we're in the last step of really getting yourself together. So when starting a business, it's important to understand what tools are necessary for your type of business. And you have to learn ways to market your message and create efficient processes that are going to save you time and yield the highest results. And being able to create and implement multiple streams of income will be your key to financial freedom. You've got to have more than one stream. A lot of us are finding it difficult to live on one stream of income. We're struggling and we're living paycheck to paycheck. You got to have another option in there. You got to have another way that money can come into your home. So first things first, you've got to determine your target market. This is extremely important. Before you go telling everybody what you do, you got to figure out who you want to serve with your products and services. And there are things that you need to consider. Where do they live? What do they do? What is their income status? Their ethnicity? Their gender? Their geographical location? And what is the problem that you are trying to solve for them? These are extremely important to consider when you're narrowing down your niche and you're trying to decide who you're going to serve. Who are your products and services for? You need to be extremely clear on this. And when you're taking your notes, I really want you to consider every single point, okay? So you've got to know who needs your services and products before you create it, okay? Know who before you create it. This way you'll know exactly what to create. So once you know who you want to serve, you have to know where to find them, right? Great, wonderful. I got this, I'm going to call it an avatar. This avatar of this person, that's my ideal client. Wonderful. Now, where do I find them? That's a question that I get a lot. How do I find these people? So market your message through various platforms. So I want you to use social media to reach a larger audience. Now, although there are numerous platforms to use on social media, determine where your customers spend the most time. Now, when I say that, are they on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram more than they're on YouTube or Periscope? So I want you to go where they are to spread your message. You can create personal profiles and then like a separate business profile on the platforms that are going to work best in your niche. So once you know who you want to serve and you know where to find them, now let's talk about how we can go ahead and get the income flowing in so we can achieve that financial security. We're talking multiple streams of income. I think this is so many people's favorite part. Just tell me how to get the money. Tell me how to get the money. Okay, honey, well, I'm going to tell you how to get the money. So listen, when we've discovered what it is that we truly love, that is when we can really begin to brainstorm ways to make income around it. So let me start you off with an example. I love basketball, but it's not my profession. So I could coach or I could referee basketball games in the community. These are usually paid positions. So in this example, your passion is basketball. But just because you love basketball doesn't mean you want to go play it professionally. I'm not about to join the WNBA. But what else can I do that revolves around basketball where I can utilize my passion? Maybe I could coach and maybe I could referee. And like I said, these are usually paid positions, so this is a source of income. So let's talk about some more ways, okay? We're going to talk about subscription services or membership sites. I think these are a really, really good way to gain extra income. So for service-based owners, coaches, healing, beauty, spa, photography, health, creating a subscription service is a really, really good way to obtain income on a regular basis. So as your subscriber list grows, so will your monthly income. The more people you have, the more money you make. And so what you do is you choose to offer a predetermined amount of service hours or content delivered to your clients on a monthly basis for an ongoing monthly charge. And so the key is to make sure that it's worth it and that it's value packed. So let me give you an example. I offer a monthly subscription service to my newsletter at $10 a month. So listen, if I get 100 people to subscribe to this low-cost newsletter, I will have $1,000 per month. 100 people, $10 a month, boom. You got an extra 1,000 just right there off of your subscription service. So let me give you an example. Awesome, awesome example, and I'm so in love with this. One of my mentors, Jen Scalia, she's a business coach. She has a membership program as one of her passive streams of income. So she has now built a 6-figure business in less than 2 years, honey, utilizing her $47 a month membership program with well over 250 subscribers. And mind you, this is just one of her streams of income. So look at the numbers. If you got $47 times 250 people, that's $11,750 a month. And that's just one stream of her income. And actually, these numbers are no longer correct. I just got an email from her the other day, and her list has tripled what it is here. So think about how much money this woman is making just from a subscription service alone. So number 2, what about a referral source? So listen, make a list of small business providers that you use on a regular basis, and make sure that you feel comfortable with recommending their service to other people without a reservation. Contact the owners and see if they have any kind of cash referral offers available. And if not, ask if they're open to partnering with you. So you can do this with accountants, you can do it with landscapers, electricians, plumbers, carpet cleaning services. Honey, you can do this with anything. And so keep a list of these businesses and really be ready to refer them out to your friends, your family, and coworkers. Now, these are businesses that you use on a regular basis. So find services and businesses that you use on a regular basis. And what happens is you can earn a fee on each referral from just talking to people. And what this does is it also helps you build and maintain these business relationships. You know, when you're sending people business, guess who's going to be in their corner? When they need something, they're going to call you. When they have people to refer, guess who they're going to refer them to? You. So let me give you an example here of how using a referral source could be extremely beneficial. So if your referral fee from your personal trainer, your chiropractor, beautician, and dog sitter. Let's just say they're all $40 a referral, a person that you refer to them. And you referred one paying client to each of these services during the month. That's an extra $160 right there. These are all services, once again, like I said, that many people participate in on a regular basis. So $40 times 4 services is $160. Now, that's a quick $160 just to talk to somebody and tell them about, your chiropractor. Simple as that. So let's move on. What about freelance work? So if you have any talent that can be offered on an individual basis, listen, you can make a lot of extra income outside of your primary business when it comes to offering your services as a freelancer. So you can advertise your services on Upwork.com and on Fiverr.com. Both of these websites are really, 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 really good to find people that can assist you. I mean, they have, oh my God, me and Upwork, I love Upwork. I mean, you can hire people from your virtual assistants to post-production and video or audio to graphic design and website design. Oh my God, the list is endless. Check out Upwork.com and Fiverr.com. And Fiverr.com is actually really good because all of their services, the base services are $5. $5. That's it. $5 though for the base services. Now, of course, the freelancers also have additional services that you can add on. But if you need a logo created, honey, I got my logos created for $5. And I had them created within a 24-hour turnaround. So Upwork and Fiverr are really, really good when you're looking to outsource your work, but they're really, really good for when you're offering work. If you're a freelancer or you're an artist or you offer assistant services, graphic design, check out these websites and put your services on there. People will come and they will hire you. I promise. I probably will come and hire you. So let me give you a quick example. If you offer to make a batch of 3 social media graphics for $5 on Fiverr, you can sell to companies that are looking to brand on social media. So most people will want more than 3 graphics, of course. In a week, if let's just say 5 companies want 4 batches each. So if they're $5 a batch, you're going to gross $100. So look at the math. $5 a batch times 4 batches equals $20. Times the 5 companies that want it, that's $100. So really quick way to do what you love, get your services out there and get some money off of it. Let's look at another one. What about speaking engagements? So I wanted to give you guys kind of a diverse set of ideas for multiple streams of income. Everyone's not going to do everything. So let's just say you're an artist, but you don't really want to do speaking engagements, or you love speaking engagements, but you're not an artist. So I really wanted to be able to give you guys several examples that you could fall into any of these. So listen, if you're good in front of people or you feel that you have a compelling message, align with others in your field to participate in speaking engagements. Speaking is such a lucrative career, actually. You could speak at workshops, conferences, ministry events, webinars. There's so many different places you can utilize your speaking skills. And it's a good way to really get your face and message out to the world and build your audience rather quickly. You're getting out there. People know who you are. And then you can do this in any career field. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. There's always going to be opportunities to speak and educate people on what you do. So let me give you an example. If you speak at telesummits, workshops, church events, fundraisers, charity events, etc., you could charge a speaking fee of $300. Now, if you only speak at 4 events during the month, boom, you've made $1,200 right there just by speaking. And it's not like you have to be the actual keynote speaker all the time. You can open up for people. You can be part of a summit. But if, let's just say your fee is $300 and you do 4 events, you have $1,200 right there. So see how simple sometimes this really can be when we really kind of brainstorm ways to make money around our passions? So when you're able to secure your background processes, your business will run more smoothly. And when you have a well-written plan for multiple sources of income, it's really going to allow a huge time freedom. That's more time for you and your family, not only just the financial aspects of it. So multiple sources of income provide two things: time freedom and financial security. Time freedom and financial security. Okay? So listen, having connections in your industry to others you can partner with can really spread your unique message like wildfire and open you up to amazing, lucrative opportunities. It's extremely important to connect to others because you never know what they have to offer you. You never know who they're connected to. Our destiny sometimes is connected to other people. So you've got to get out there and connect with and talk to other people. So we have covered the 5-step proven system that I use. We've covered some of the gems. There's so much more in the Your Abundant Life program that you'll get. But today we've covered the gems of the 5-step proven system. We've talked about, number one, the importance of understanding what truly lights you up so that you can feel fulfilled on a daily basis and how to figure out what you love. We've talked about, number two, how fear is sabotaging your success and how to trade it for competence and confidence. We've covered how to create manageable goals to decrease overwhelm and the consequences of inaction. Number four, we've talked about the benefits of building relationships with yourself, your core group, and your professional network. And number five, we talked about ways to market your message and achieve financial freedom through multiple streams of income. Not only the financial freedom, but the time freedom. So we've covered the 5-step proven system. And as promised, like I said earlier, I told you that I would show you how you can take advantage of additional support. So listen, maybe you are still working the 9 to 5 and you're trying to build your own business. Or maybe you're just feeling stuck and you have no idea, where to maneuver from here. Maybe you're extremely overwhelmed right now with the amount of work that it actually takes to build a business. Or maybe your fears are debilitating you and they're keeping you from making any progress at all. So listen, if you're looking for more guidance and support in creating that signature transition plan to go from employee to entrepreneur, just like I did, or if you just really need to figure out your next step in the business building process, I want to invite you to a free 30-minute Freedom Finders discovery session. This is valued at $97. So what does this look like? What it looks like is I'll sit down with you for 30 minutes to really hear you out about, where you're currently at and what you truly desire to accomplish in business. And you'll walk away with at least one tool to overcome your fear of moving forward and stepping out on your own. And you'll know exactly what the next step is in the business building process and, how to implement it. And this is where you're also going to have the opportunity to take advantage of ongoing support if you so choose. So listen, guys, I want you to meet me on the inside and schedule your free 30-minute Freedom Finders discovery sessions today. Now, I only have been able to open up 8 spots. It's so many more of you than, slots I have available on my calendar. So I want you to schedule your free 30-minute session today. So in order to get this Freedom Finders discovery session, I want you to go to https://calendly.com/Candace M. Gray, MFT, /discovery session. So once again, https://calendly.com/Candace M. Gray, MFT, /discovery session. Or you can go to my website at www.rafahealing.com. And when you're on the website, you want to click on the Schedule Free 30-Minute Discovery Session button. So calendly.com/CandiceMGray/discovery session or RafaHealing.com. Be sure you schedule your free discovery session today because I only have 8 spots available. So I want to thank you so much for your time. You could have been anywhere else, but today you've chosen to really invest in your life and in your next season of abundance. Guys, I want you to be purposeful about making it a good week, okay? I will see you on the inside. Take care.